Hey, what's good, people? Welcome back to another episode on my channel. It's your boy Elijah. So very exciting news I wanted to bring your attention to today. So as you can see here, Solana is currently ranked 11 in the cryptocurrency market. So this is super huge. A few days ago we talked about Solana reaching the 15th on the chart, and now it's 11, closing in on the top 10 list. And as we know, Solana, it has a very strong foundation, and we're going to take a closer look at that in a second. Some amazing things that are brewing in the Solana ecosystem and why it is actually staying strong in the market compared to the other cryptocurrency. As you can see, in the past 7 days, it has been doing relatively well, right? Solana was around $40 just a couple weeks ago when the market really crashed, and it's still maintaining that level of high. It's reached $50 in the past around that mark, but it's still right around the range where it was about 1 week ago, right? And a lot of cryptocurrencies are not following the same pattern. A lot of them have really suffered in the market drops. So this is very exciting news for Solana holders, and especially because, as we can see here in the general market, we've kind of gotten a downward trend, but now in the past 2 weeks or so, we're kind of moving sideways, right? So moving sideways in the meaning that we are kind of stagnant right now. Like there's no huge uptrend, there's no huge downtrend. We're not quite sure what direction we're going to be going in. We just kind of got to keep an eye on the market and see what happens. A few points people should really keep in mind as they continue to follow this market is following this support line. If the market cap drops below 1.239, so that's a very huge indicator for a bear market, especially because we haven't quite seen any signs of it going in a positive upward direction. So the other side of that spectrum is if we are able to break this barrier right here, the support line at 1.8 trillion, I think a very solid number is 1.9 because it's more concrete and it shows that, okay, that support line actually is broken. And once that is, then we are going in an upward trend. I know those are two very drastically different numbers, but as we know, the cryptocurrency market is super volatile, and increasing by $400 billion in a matter of weeks is not impossible. It's something that happens all the time. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, right? As you can see here, 2.5 trillion. And that was around, May 12th. And then if we look at here, this was right around April 25th, where it was 1.7. So, we saw almost even $1 trillion in terms of growth in this period alone. So it's not impossible that it could go up in that direction, but it could also go down in the opposite direction. So continue to keep an eye on that number. I would say following the general market cap of the total market is more of an important thing to do at this moment in time, not necessarily each individual cryptocurrency, because the general market is going to tell what happens because the cryptocurrency market is still very young. So if the overall sentiment towards the market is bad, it doesn't matter how strong Bitcoin is or how Ethereum is, they're both going to see some hits, right? So it's very important that you make sure you keep in mind that the market cap is going to be a huge defining factor, right? So make sure you keep an eye on that. So let's get right into what we got to talk about today anyway. So I wanted to bring your attention to Solana and just looking at the moving averages of what's been going on in the past 50 days. And as you can see in the red here, we have the general simple moving average 50 days. And in the blue, we have an exponential moving average. And here, very quite interesting, we can see the exponential moving average is kind of tapering slower. It could explode here. And if it does explode here, then we could possibly see some uptick in the price, but I'm not quite too sure what that is going to look like. So fingers still crossed. I think it's going to continue to explode actually because, we just saw a crossover here between the exponential and the simple moving average. And that crossover could be indicating a buy, which is why we kind of see a sideways kind of movement here and then a uptick here, which could continue. We're just going to have to keep an eye on that. Personally, I will not be buying Solana at this period in time because I did buy when it was at a dip, I believe at $28. So I'm kind of holding on to the market cap and hoping to see if it does, go below that 1.3 or go above that 1.9. I'm kind of comfortable with my current position and portfolio. And I'm super excited to see where Solana goes because huge project. And as we just saw right now, it has a very, very strong foundation when it comes to the actual ecosystem. It's not a hype coin. So, when the market sentiment does go down, it doesn't necessarily mean that the market cap will go down because the investors could be holding on because of the value they see in it. So today I want to talk about some just news that is going on around the Solana ecosystem as well. So as you can see here, one of the largest New York Stock Exchange is joining Solana on a data project, right? So GTS, best known for facilitating large initial public offerings on New York Stock Exchange, joined Pyth Network, a data project led by high-speed trading firm Jump Trading. Announced by Jump in April, Pyth is essentially a platform that aggregates Wall Street market data on the Solana blockchain. So this is very huge because, as we know, Solana, the blockchain, is highly efficient when it comes to the speed and the low cost of each transaction. So I wouldn't see a problem with managing the data of what's going on Wall Street, especially with Wall Street's high speed of trading. There's a lot of trading going on in the stock market every single day. So I don't see a problem with Solana's network handling this. This is very, very big for Solana because it just opens the gate to more possibilities of use cases, especially if we're integrating with the current world and not just trying to build on the DeFi network, but trying to integrate what we already know and see today. It makes it more relatable for the real world, and it continues to bring cryptocurrencies closer to adoption by the general public, right? So this is very, very huge information. Love this. So one more thing I wanted to point out was, we just talked about Solana not really being impacted. So this research firm, published a report on the performance of 5 sectors in the crypto industry after the crash that we saw. Solana was one of those coins, and relentless selling pressure caused the main cryptocurrencies to correct by more than 50% mid-May. On June 3rd, the crypto market closed on a positive for the first time, and the smart contract sector saw an overall return of 3.11% in assets. Solana was one of those again. And DeFi projects and decentralized exchanges have equal returns with 2.7, followed by cryptocurrencies with the least returns after Web 3.0. So overall, as we see here, Solana just had some overall good returns in scope of a period of time. So, if you're looking at the all-time, if you bought in Solana at $55 when it was at its all-time, then, it's subjectively, it's not a good buy. It wasn't a good investment for you. But if you've been holding Solana for quite some time now, regardless of what happened in this period of time, you're likely still at a net positive in terms of what you invested. Plus, Solana did not correct as much as the other platforms did. The last thing I wanted to bring your attention to today is Solana just getting a whole lot of investment in order to continue to build out the ecosystem, which is super exciting because, as we all know and talk about, the ecosystem is the core part of any cryptocurrency project. This is the reason why Solana is standing very high and proud and coming closer to the top 10. As you see here, they raised $450 million, and everyone always talks about how they are trying to challenge Ethereum. Regardless of that, I think Solana just brings a lot to the cryptocurrency metaverse. It brings the opportunity for decentralized applications to really close the gap when it comes to how people are transacting. Ethereum is quite slow, meaning that it's pretty expensive as well when you factor in the high fees and the block time. So it's difficult to create an exchange platform on Ethereum, for example, because it's not going to execute transactions fast enough, especially with more and more people on the network. whereas Solana can execute multiple transactions, which is why we see something like Serum, the platform for decentralized exchanges, possible, right? So, Solana really does change the game when it comes to what is possible. And that's one key factor that makes it very, very exciting for me, because it opens the gate to more possibilities, and not just ideas of possibilities, but actually executed ideas, like things are actually coming to life. So very excited about that. And another thing here, also getting another $20 million to continue to build their ecosystem, like we just talked about again. Overall, super sweet to see what's going on with the Solana ecosystem. Very, very excited for how this is going to continue to move. I will continue to keep you all updated. This is one that I follow closely. Probably not close enough, but honestly, I am super excited about Solana. If you like this video in any fashion and you are a fan of Solana in any way, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, because we will always be covering super amazing content, especially about Solana on this channel. So if you want to stay updated on that, make sure you stay tuned to this channel for more updates on that. Anyway, it was your boy Elijah, just bringing you some quick videos and tips and just overall sentiment on what's going on in terms of the market of cryptocurrency, as well as what's going on in my thoughts in my head and where I'm at. Once again, thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Don't speak to no one but the facts to the masses.